Hi, I'm Mariapaola McGurk. I'm a visual artist currently based in Ekurhuleni, and I specialize in paper cutting. I saw my first paper cuts about 20 years ago. It was a very small work that my uncle had given to my parents from Hong Kong. And I was intrigued, how is this done? How do they work so delicately and detailed? And that started a journey of exploration. It's taken a long time to figure out a way and a style that depicts what I'm trying to say, which is one of the most challenging things as a visual artist, to find medium and method that speaks, that just is right, that feels right. I started exploring very, very fine lines in paper cutting, but trying to bring in an element of contemporary and context-based. Being in Africa, being in South Africa, trying to bring in elements of that. And, you know, although it's a very traditional art form, moving quite strongly away from the traditional aspects. I'm currently working on a body of work called Finding the Pattern, which will be exhibited at Candice, Berman in 2022. I'm very excited about this body of work because in many ways it's a reintroduction into the visual arts sector. Although I've been making art for 20 years, I've been busy on a variety of things, and this will be my first solo in a commercial gallery. The body of work started from a very technical perspective of trying to find new methods of strength and connectivity in the works. And then it moved into a more conceptual idea. You know, the paper cutting process is very slow. So there's a lot of time and processing that happens when you're working on a work. And I started questioning the patterns that we create in our existence, the patterns that I create and almost don't pay attention to, that connect everything, that stop me from falling apart. And what are those patterns? So this body of work started really evaluating my existence, my life, my purpose. I started this body of work in March 2020 as we went into hard lockdown. You know, I was running a social creative company in the city of Joburg. We had 1 year earlier bought a 1,500 square meter building that we were turning into a creative hub. So everyone went home as we were told, and all I could take with me was my toolbox, a pile of imagery because I had them, and black A4 pieces of paper. At home, I just started obsessively making, but I couldn't go out and get reference, you know, so I couldn't go on the streets and take a visual diary and sit in a coffee shop. So I used the reference I had, and that was a series of portraits that I had done, which I was going to use at the entrance to the building of staff, artists, creatives who used to engage with the space. So I had all of these A4 portraits, images. And for the next month, those images of people that were very important in my daily routines became very important in my new routine. And I was looking at the faces of the people I love, the faces of the people I know. And they served as the base of the Finding the Pattern exhibition works. While working on those works, I was also looking at a variety of types of pattern. One example is the Fibonacci sequence. And you know, the thinking wasn't to delve into Fibonacci's sequence, but starting to think, what if our pattern and our reason is just out of sight? Our logic and what we're meant to do with our lives and with our existence is just out of reach. And it led to a play with using the Fibonacci sequence to initiate a pattern that looks like chaos. But that pattern all resonates and leads to a single point. And I started playing with those types of ideas on a variety of levels. So, you know, although I'm not a portrait artist, it was very important to use those faces of memory in this body of work initially. The second component of Finding the Pattern, after the technical and after the patterns and the portraiture, was going back to my story. I've been keeping visual diaries since I can remember, since my teenage years. And within those visual diaries have always been these very simplistic, stylized images. And I started going back and started reworking them, started re-looking at these images, and started creating artworks of me trying to find my pattern. What are the philosophical questions I keep asking myself? What are the challenges I keep facing in my life? In order to start finding a sense and an understanding of my life. And you know, I'm far from finding it, but this body of works has put me on a journey that I think is going to last for the rest of my life.